Hi, hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here. And firstly, I wanted to thank the Luan Gallery for this opportunity to talk a little about me, about myself as a curator and project manager of Over Nature. That is a touring group exhibition. Now we started over a year ago, and we are arrived close to the end. And I'm pleased to announce that the last exhibition it will be open. It will open. Sorry, open on Saturday, 26th of September at the. This is a very big pleasure for me to introduce the exhibition in this particular moment, because we can have a proper opening event and this culture night event is not our prisoner, our and the solution to global warming is not to fix so we have to fix ourselves firstly. Is it that can express or just give you an idea of what it means. So let me show you. Right, this is an aerial photo give you an idea of what happened to us and how we are interpreting the nature and how we are looking at nature. So through art in this case. So we have colonized nature and its representation, especially in the Western thinking. The representation of modern industrial pollution is anesthetized, and quoting Susan Sontag in her book Regarding the Pain of Others, shock can become familiar. So this is that it is this one of Boyce, just a very famous artist. My artist happening. The role of art becomes therefore exploratory, not polemics, but a proper commitment to what we could be. So Beuys is famous for his performance like Columba, Kathy Herbert, Mary O'Connor, and Louis O. And all they are called to contextualize their research within the Anthropocene scenario. They are all so different, I have just to say, for medium, methodology, background, and personality, of course. But they merge perfectly, in my opinion, together because they can offer a very different point of view on art and environment. So I want to thank again the Luan Gallery for this opportunity, and I want just to invite you to send me your questions or whatever you want, curiosity, and I will be happy to answer. So I want now to introduce through the catalog that we really nice that we created for this exhibition, and I would love to start to read some now. She is waiting to be. So hello, Kathy.
Hi, Valeria. How are you?
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
So just I have to turn on the audio, otherwise I can hear you well. So let me just introduce you, if you want, reading something about you, about your work, what I wrote for you at the beginning of this very big adventure, and then we can enter in more specifically on your research.
Yeah.
So all Kathy Herbert's art is permeated by a desire to understand the process of interaction between humans and the earth. Above all, the aim of her art is the creation of ideas that not only connect people to each other and their essence, but also connects them to the context of their relationship with the natural world. Herbert's art not only uses natural material to realize her artwork, but she investigates nature to better express her discovery and analysis of the natural process that surround us. The observation of nature and its changes through the cognitive process are at the basis of Herbert's artistic research. Sometimes her methodologies could appear as sometimes for my English, intangible, but that is not necessarily true, since she is interested in the everyday interaction of people and the ecological environment, and her endeavors suggest to us a new vision and a new approach to life in accordance with nature. Sorry if I read not so fluently, but hope these sentences they are still valid in your art and research. And yeah, we can start to talk a little about your experience during this tour, whatever you want, really. And I can show some pieces that I uploaded in my phone, so it will be clearer for people that they never seen our.
Okay. Can you hear me, Valeria? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the how will I call it, the approach I used for this work, which was an approach about how we see things, how we perceive, and how we see. And I called the work "Shift and Remove: Seeing Through Devices." Now, this was very important to me because one of the things about our, well, let's call it our surroundings, like we're part of the whole environment thing ourselves. We are as nature, as natural as anything else. But the thing is that we have the part to look at nature and understand it. Look at what's all around us and understand the thing. But I find that we are disconnected from it. We don't actually allow ourselves to understand it. And nowadays we have these wonderful mobile phones. And what happens is I see people look at something like a river or a tree or something and they take a photograph of it and then they walk away looking at the photograph, right? So that their experience is removed, right? By taking the photograph, they've removed, if you like, the image from its context. So it's a removed. And then, of course, if they rely on the photograph to give them the information about the original, then they've kind of shifted their understanding away from the original into the virtual. So that this is how we're perceiving nature now, is through devices, rather than just standing there looking at it. We look at it through devices. We look at it in different ways as well. Like, for example, even when we are looking at it there in front of us, we're thinking of it in a certain way, that it's removed from us, that it's nature, that it's picturesque, that it's all this sort of thing, that it's not just what it is, it's always got to be something else. So that's another remove, you know, our expectations are also removed. So I was thinking about this whole idea of shift and remove, and of course the devices and what a device is. And I feel that making art is a device, right? And it's a device to help us understand, but it's also to help people see. And drawing, of course, is fundamental to my practice anyway. Yeah. So, but it is a device, because what I like about drawing in particular is that it has a study element into it. You know, you have to look, draw. And when I was teaching, I used to tell my students that if you had 5 minutes to make a drawing, and you looked for 4 and drew for 1, you'd make a better drawing than if you looked for 1 and drew for 4. The more you look, the more you learn, right? And that's part of drawing. It's part of living in life. It's part of everything. Now, the other thing I was doing was these little drawings here. The 3 little ones on the left that you have the image there. The way I made them was I took a photograph of the water. Those photographs you showed originally of the This Is Not a River. Those little drawings are taken from those photographs. And what I did was I made a tiny little window and I put it down on the photograph and I drew what I saw in the photograph. So we're talking about generations of shift and remove. I don't know what way to say that. But so that then they were little tiny things. I think they were about 7 centimeters by 1 centimeter. And then I blew them up by eye and by hand and made that. So like there's lots of shifts there, lots of taking it away from the original, removing it from the original, the experience and the visual and the devices and everything else, so that they make very abstract patterns. And this is something that I enjoy very much, is this business of taking little things like that and making them much bigger, and bringing them away from the original into an abstract. Because as we go into a kind of an abstract thing, you take on, how do I put it, your own feelings and your own excitement about drawing and all these kind of things get into the abstract, and they get tangled up with the original ideas, and they make something new and different. But it does explain things. Well, it demonstrates, let's say, the feelings and some element of the original as well. I just want to talk now about the little photographs taken with the iPad. Yes, This Is Not a River. Now, I'm sure everybody has noticed that each one of those is the size of an iPhone. It's that size.
Yeah, that's very important to say, because people, they can't understand because you can see this photograph and it's not something that you can connect immediately with of a phone, but that is a very nice secret that people, they can now understand. I think it was for me the same. When you revealed me this detail, it opened something in my head. It revealed something that is extraordinary, because now we are always looking at nature or everywhere, looking at, and with that size, the size of our screen of our phone. So,
but all those little photographs, as you say, we see through the phone. And as I said, the first thing I said was that the business of people looking at something, taking a photograph, and then walking away looking at the photograph. Now, in This Is Not a River, I called it This Is Not a River because, of course, it's photographs of a river. It isn't a river. It's a photograph of a river. And it's photographs of one tiny little piece of a long 29-mile long river. And you know, so how do you experience a whole river? By looking at one of those, or even at a whole series of them. I think I have 30 of them in total. And how do you experience a whole river? Through 30 little photographs. And you can't. That's why I have called it This Is Not a River. But it's also, people have said to me, they're very beautiful. And of course they are. Like the light on the water, the ducks, the colours in the water, all that kind of thing. Of course they're lovely, but they're surface. They're completely surface, right? Now, compare that to the little piece of the bottles.
yes, I want to talk about that, because now everything makes sense. Because now with the bottle and this little photograph, they are so nice, but they are revealing something that is so sad. So let us.
Well, this is a direct contrast now to This Is Not a River. This Is Not a River, as I said, is all surface, and it looks beautiful and it's lovely. This is, sorry, the little bottles, each bottle contains a sample of the water from the Dodder. It's about the Dodder River, the Dodder, that I took at each bridge along the way of my, where I was researching for this show. And each one has two labels on it, one to show you where I took the photograph, and the other what I saw when I looked through the microscope. So This Is Not a River is all surface. This is looking in deeply, deeply looking in to really find out something about the water. And the saddest thing I found was that I expected, from my childhood, when we were kids, my father used to bring us to all places where there was nature stuff, and he had a microscope, and he used to show us the little creatures running around inside in the water, and from the Dodder, from the pond in the Phoenix Park, from all over. And it was full of little things running around in the water, little microscopic creatures, you know, I think zooplankton and, you know, phytoplanktons or whatever, and various other kind of things, microbes. But there was nothing in any one of those bottles. There wasn't one living creature. But what there was a lot of plastic microparticles. Yeah. And the thing about that was that, as you said, it's a big sadness, but I found it even a bigger sadness because the Dodder is my local river, and we've all heard about the plastic particles in the ocean and everywhere else, but to find it in your local river is a bit of a shock. It was yeah. I mean, I've found this
so it's touching you personally. It's not for something that it's happening far from you, but it's a shock because it is happening close to you, to your familiar river.
Yes, it's that expression. It brings it home to you. You know, like that's an expression meaning that, you know, it brings it home to you, right to where you are. This is happening in my neighborhood. Yeah.
And then this is happening everywhere, I have just to say, because if it's happening in a river like the Dodder River, you can just imagine what is happening in the bigger river or in the ocean or everywhere, because now is the earth is really under the pressure of the humanity, always more and more, and we are not now with the pandemic. It seems like all the pollution or all these climate exchange problems, they are gone. We have just to think only about the pandemic. That it's important, but it's also important to take care of ourselves and of our planet, because it's part of ourselves. It's not something external. So, and I think your work, they are describing very well the situation and everything, how we have to interpret it and feel and enjoy the land, our place, because this is the only one planet that we have. So how we have to respect all our body now with this virus, and we have to respect each other and have responsible behavior.
Yes.
So I think the humanity has to rethink again about what they have to do, how they have to act.
Yes. Well, I feel too that it has an element of planetary housekeeping. You know, thousands of years ago, people didn't think too much about, you know, the idea of cleanliness about them, right? We find all these evidences all the time of where people ate and they just threw the shells and the bones out. You know, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got a bit more domestic and the houses were kept clean for sanitary reasons and all that.
Yeah.
Little villages and stuff like that, the streets were appalling. And then sanitation came to the streets, you know, and now people, their house was clean and their immediate environment was relatively clean. And we just have to keep extending that, you know.
Yeah.
to understand that we need the oceans for fresh oxygen. If the oceans aren't living, the planet will die. Without the oxygen and without the temperature controls and all the rest of it, without the oceans, the planet will die. And similarly, everything that feeds into the ocean, the rivers, the runoff from the land, everything that we do, from the tiniest thing, you know, to the largest thing, everything that we do affects where we live on this planet. You know?
Yeah, of course. So I have just to say, really, thanks for this, and thanks a lot for having created at that time 1 year during the one summer ago now.
Yes.
These pieces, because specifically for this exhibition, that is important to say that they were pieces that they were for the first time shown at the Over Nature exhibition. So they are created specifically for this project. So they are fitting very well the idea that I think all this group had in their head, or just we found a way to be all connected. And yes, I have just to say a very big, huge thank you for having joined me now that you are in your staycation. So so this is your time just to relax a little, and hope to see you soon in the real life.
Yes.
I know that now we are all the time living our life on Instagram, YouTube, or Zoom, Skype on this chat. So it will be nice, probably after all this problem, talk and discuss and think about this new situation and this new reality.
Very true. Yes.
So let me know if you want to say something else, do that. Otherwise, I'm happy with your description, your works, and yeah, I would like just to say thanks and see you really soon.
Well, thank you, Valeria. Thank you very much. And I have to say that it was a great privilege to be part of this show and to make the work, as you say, specifically for it was well, it was a challenge as well as a pleasure, because it had been on my mind for such a long time to do some work with this local river, and it's such a lovely one, and it has such an interesting story too. And you gave me the opportunity to do it, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having accepted, because it was really a big challenge. It was something that we at that time we didn't know what. I don't know everything, because it was just how I have to say, it was for me the first time to make, just for that I created a tour exhibition, 6 venues. It was very just demanding, I have just to say. And now with the pandemic in the middle, it became much more hard, but that's it. We survive anyway. And yeah, so you are a Wonder Woman.
So and I know that everything will be fine at the end of this big journey with the exhibition, but a journey of our life.
Yes, as well. Yes, indeed, Valerie. Yeah, indeed.
So thanks a million again. And yeah, I will install your work and pieces at the Luan Gallery next week. So I will enjoy to play again with all of these objects to display in the space. So hope people now they can go there and see and understand better what you created, these special pieces for this show.
Yes.
So thanks, and lovely really to see you again, and see you soon.
Yes, see you soon, Valeria. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Thanks.
Bye bye.